Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BSU Senior College Information Session. This is our last information session of the semester. Welcome. I see we have about 27 people here right now.
Wow.
I'm so happy to see you all. I'm going to go ahead and hit the mute all button. So Darlene, if you want to speak to me, you'll want to unmute yourself. So everyone's muted just so that we don't have background noise or any distractions. When you do want to ask a question, feel free to just go ahead and unmute yourselves. Just letting a few people more into the group here. So welcome, I'm Jennifer Reed. I'm the director of BSU Senior College. We are really excited about the program we have for you today. We have many of our instructors here in the Zoom session, and we will have an opportunity to hear from each of them, and they will introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about who they are, and then they will let you know what you can expect to learn in their course. But before we do that today, I will give a brief overview of the Senior College. I know we have a lot of familiar faces in here, including people that have already been a member of the Senior College, so I won't go into too much detail, but I would encourage people who are new to Senior College to check out our YouTube channel, where we actually have a whole session posted on there about what is Senior College, and it really goes into more depth about what it is and how it works. So if you need the link to that, you can of course email me anytime. My email, I can post it here in the chat. It's j5reed@bridgew.edu. And of course you can always call me as well. My number is 508-531-2570. And maybe Darlene, if possible, could post that in the chat. Okay, so what is Senior College? Well, Senior College is a non-credit enrichment program for older adults. It's geared towards people that are over age 55, but we have members that are mostly in their 60s, 70s, and young 80s. But we've had folks as young as 50 in the Senior College, and we've had folks as young as in their early 90s. So we're really welcoming. There's no specific age requirement. You don't have to be a certain age, and we don't check anyone's age when they register, but obviously we're geared towards older adults. Most of our folks are in the retirement phase of their life. We also don't have any prerequisites, so you don't need to have attended college to come to Senior College. You don't need college credits. You don't need to be an alumni of Bridgewater State University or affiliated with the university in any way. A lot of our members are from our home community, the town of Bridgewater. Shout out to all my wonderful Bridgewater friends from the community of Bridgewater. And I think that's just because we do a really good job at letting the people in our community know what we're doing on campus. The other reason is a lot of the seniors that live in the community of Bridgewater have been asking for this for years and years. So at some point, finally, President Clark said this is going to happen, and he gave the full support of the university behind it. And it trickled down to me, this mid-level administrator, and also my colleague who's here today, Darlene Marks. And so Darlene and I work together in the College of Continuing Studies on this program. So that's why we're here. We opened our doors in the fall of 2019, and we were a fully in-person program. We offered our classes at the Bridgewater Public Library, and then we had lots of big plans to expand in the spring of 2020. And of course, we all know what happened in the spring of 2020. Those plans were derailed, but it created an incredible opportunity for us to offer this program virtually, which is not something it had never been on our radar to hold classes in a virtual environment for seniors. And it's been one of the great benefits of this pandemic has been us learning that seniors enjoy learning in this format, and we've been able to reach an even wider audience than we ever anticipated before. So last semester, I think we had somewhere around 220 members, which was beyond our expectations. And we hope to kick it out of the, or hit it out of the ballpark again in the fall with an equally as big crowd. So of course, we always ask you to, if you choose to join the senior college and you're enjoying your experience, to help us spread the word. Okay, just a couple of things, glancing at my notes here. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is the increased mental and intellectual wellness that lifelong learning can bring. And that's why we're here. We know that there can be many benefits to learning with others. It can help decrease social isolation. It can improve your ability to handle life's challenges. Obviously, lifelong learning can reduce risk forms of dementia, and it even helps increase neuron generation. So there's a number of benefits to learning in this way, and we're here to offer people an experience to learn with different types of instructors. And so the great thing about our program is, because we are for enrichment purposes, we can use the great faculty in our university who are leaders, scholars, experts in their field. They're doing research, they're presenting at national conferences, they're incredibly engaged in the academic fields that they are interested in. But we also have folks who are local experts who have expertise in the area of content that they're passionate about, and they're not necessarily, they don't necessarily have a PhD, but they're incredible educators. So the good thing about senior college is we have these 50 courses planned for you this fall, and you as individuals can take as many as you like for the single fee of $85, as most of you probably already know. So you can take one course, or you could take 20 courses, or even 30 courses. I can't imagine that you would have the time to take that many courses, but we would say that I think a lot of you could be up for the challenge. So the other thing is, you can take a course, and if you don't like it, you can just stop going to it. No one will be offended, no one will be upset. You have the chance to just go in and take a look at a class and see how it feels to you. I know some of our instructors, people just feel really passionate about and they have a connection with, and they might not work for someone else, and that's okay. Everyone has their individual taste. The other part of the senior college, which is nice, is that we record a lot of our course meetings, not every course, but a lot of them. So if you're busy and you have an appointment or you have another obligation, you can watch a course meeting at a later time. And that's only a benefit to members of the senior college. Only current members can watch senior college courses during the course of the semester. So that's something that you'll have access to if you choose to join senior college. Okay, I'm scrolling back to just take one quick at my notes. I think I might have mentioned this, but senior college has an affordable price point. We're actually the most affordable lifelong learning program in Massachusetts. So our model is quite unique. And I'd like to just give credit 100% to the leaders of our university, our provost, Karim Ismaili, and the president of the university, Fred Clark, who have been able to support the work that Darlene and I do to offer this in such an affordable way. And also to our instructors, who really are essentially volunteers. They are, given a small stipend, but they really do this because they're passionate about working with all of you and helping you learn and engage in new topics. Okay, the last thing is we have lots of benefits to being a senior college participant at Bridgewater. So if you're local to the area and you live within driving distance to the university, as a member, you have full access to the amenities of our campus. You can get a free semester-long parking pass, which if you live in Bridgewater, that's quite valuable in and of itself. You can go to our fitness center. You can have full access to the library, an email account, text services through our help desk, whatever it might be. So if you live in the area, I would encourage you to take advantage of all the great things that our beautiful campus has to offer. And we're opening back up this fall. Of course, I just saw an email about a mask mandate. You do have to wear a mask indoors on our campus this fall, but you would still have a great chance to come and see all the beautiful things that we have to offer. Darlene, am I missing anything really important? Do you think?
I don't think so. I think you covered it all.
Okay. Oh, just one other thing. I wanted to mention that most of our classes are open enrollment and there's unlimited seats in most of our classes, except for a couple. One that comes to mind is our American Sign Language course with Glenna Caliando. Glenna is an incredible educator. She is deaf. She would, I think, agree with me that learning sign language from a deaf person is a really effective way to learn sign language. And so that class is limited to 26 people. And I just checked the other day and I think it's at like 16, 17. So if you're really interested in that class in particular, I would encourage you to sign up early. And then the remaining classes for the most part are fairly open at this point. Okay, so the format for the rest of the session will be that we have this great chance to hear from our faculty members. And I would encourage the faculty members to realize, I think there's about, yeah, we really just have about 3-4-ish minutes for each of you. I know that's quick. But what I'd like you to do is introduce yourself and just give a brief taste of who you are, maybe a little bit about your background. And then tell our participants what they can hope to learn in your course. And I would like to start, and I'll give you a heads up. I believe Medha's here. Is Medha here? Oh, yeah, she is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hi, welcome. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you. It's nice
for being here. So I'm going to give you the floor now for you to talk about your course. And then after you, we'll go to Dr. Scoble. Go ahead. You have the floor.
Thank you so much. It's about ancient civilization of India as well as the modern India. And I am Medha Bhattacharya. I've come all the way from India. I'm a Fulbright scholar in residence with Bridgewater State University for 1 academic year. So right now I'll be teaching in the Communication Studies department, and next semester I'll be with the English department. And I'm offering this course, and it will contain yoga, festivals of India, practical Indian philosophy, the concept of the whole world being as a family, Bollywood and Indian cinema, books and writers of India, cuisines, that is food and spices of India, traditional fabric and wearing the traditional clothes, and Indian weddings. We can have discussions beyond this as well in the question answer round. So I'm trying to make it a package deal called India, the ancient and the modern. And through the question answers, you could discover a lot more than what I'm offering. So it will be a pleasure for me to talk about India and know a lot more about Bridgewater from the interactions. Thank you.
Medha, we are so honored and thrilled to be able to welcome you to Senior College and welcome you to our university. And thank you to Wing Kai for introducing us. I'd just like to say to the members, you know, we're likely not traveling to India very soon, given, you know, this pandemic and the ongoing international challenges, challenges of international travel. So this is your chance. Like if you've always been curious about India, I would strongly encourage you to take this class and for you to take the time out of your, what I know is a busy schedule, to be with us this fall. We are so thrilled. It's so nice to meet you. And I know you have something to get back to. You're in the middle of orientation.
Thank you so much. And I'm delighted to be here. It's a privilege to really be amongst you all. So my pleasure. I would love to interact with you all later on too. So thank you. I'll be going back to my meeting orientation. So thank you.
See you all. Welcome. Okay, thank you. Now we'll turn it over to Dr. Scoble, and after Dr. Scoble, we'll do Wing Kai.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ian Scoble. I'm a professor of philosophy here at Bridgewater State. I've been here for 20 years. This will be my 3rd time doing the senior college. Besides being a professor of philosophy, I'm also the co-coordinator of Bridgewater's program in philosophy, politics, and economics. And my main areas of research and teaching are in moral philosophy and political philosophy and social philosophy as it pertains to political economy and things of that nature. So the course I'm offering this term is called Understanding Ethics, and it's a survey of some of the broad trends and traditions in moral philosophy, going back to ancient times through modern times. And we'll be less concerned with who said what as far as the actual names and chronology, but actually what the theories are, different conceptions of what the good life is, what the difference is between focusing on right action versus right attitude, whether consequences matter or don't matter, things of that nature, what is obligation, what is duty, and more broadly, why one should care about morality in the first place. There's traditionally been a skeptical challenge to the doing of moral philosophy, which is a sort of, why should I care about being ethical in the first place? And of course, we have to answer a question like that before it's worth answering any of those other questions. So hopefully it'll be a fun and interesting 4 sessions for you. And I hope to see a bunch of you in a few weeks' time.
Ian, thank you so much. And as always, thank you for being such a great supporter. You've been with us since the very beginning, since we were in person over there at the Bridgewater Public Library. And we just appreciate your continued engagement with us. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks, Jim.
Okay, up next we have Dr. To, Wing Kai To. I also want to say to the instructors, I know you're busy and this is a busy time of year, so you can feel free to leave the Zoom if you'd like after your plug is done, if you have other obligations. Dr. To.
Thank you so much, Jen. I've heard a lot of good things about senior college, but this is going to be my first time doing the senior college with all you folks. For those of you who have not met, and some of you have met before, I'm very excited about introducing a very broad class about global issues of the 21st century to all of you for 8 lessons, 8 sessions, which cover from September 13th to all the way to November 15th for Mondays from 6 to 7 p.m. And I am the Assistant Provost for Global Engagement and Senior International Officer at Bridgewater State. And I see my colleague, Assistant Provost for High Impact Practices, Jenny Shanahan, here as well, and she'll speak after me. And yeah, we really want to use this opportunity to talk about my passion about the world and the importance of Americans to understand the world from different perspectives, and especially thinking about the current challenges and issues that affect our humanity, from our own community to our country, to world peace, to the planet Earth. So this is a very ambitious attempt, but it's also a very necessary approach to think about the world in a very fundamental way, as a way to introduce any people at different levels and of any background, from beginners to PhDs to postdocs, to think about what we're learning about today's major topics that affect all of us. So I'm using a very broad approach to divide into 8 lessons, and with first two sessions about the temporal and spatial context, the time and space of the world. So basically, first 2 sessions are background information to talk about geography and history very broadly, in 2 different sessions. So how do we think about the world in terms of space, and how do we think about the world in terms of time, right? So those are the fundamental thing to think about, the temporal and spatial context. And then I'll divide up 6 major issues to talk about each of them in each of the 6 sessions. And the 6 topics are, first I'll start with the field that affects my work. I'm both a historian and someone who works on education. So after history, I'll talk about education. So I'll talk about international education and global education. And the fourth class is going to be about immigration. I'm going to talk about movement of peoples, and from one country to the other. So that would be the week 4. Week 5 would be about looking at the world from the point of view of governments and international politics. So this is what most people would call international relations or international affairs. And then the 6th week would be about race and gender. I'll focus on race, ethnicity, and gender approaches to understanding world dynamics and think about inequalities and problems or advances in the world about race and gender and class to a certain extent as well. And finally, the last 2 sessions are going to be looking at the future. The week 7 will be talk about technology. We'll talk about how does technology affect our world in the current generation and what's likely to happen in the future. And finally, last but not least, we'll talk about a big issue about climate change. A week ago, there was a UN report about some of the issues of climate change and some of the challenges for us. So we'll be talking about some of the issues about climate change at the end. So we start from the very basic background to some of the things that are more immediate to all of us about education, and then talk about the world in different perspectives. And finally, we'll look at climate change at the end. So it will be very broad, and don't worry about it. You're not going to read tons of books, and we're going to talk about each themes with some of my thoughts and some of the major questions. So I'll raise some questions and some of the major points in the beginning, and then we'll have lots of chances for discussions about your own experiences and about some of your questions you might have to me and to each other. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We're really excited to have you. Just a couple of things before we get to Peggy. One is that you might have heard Dr. Toe talk about, so his class is an 8-week class. Some of our courses are 4 weeks and some are 8. So you want to make sure you check the schedule carefully to see how the classes that you're interested in are scheduled. And the other point that he makes is that there are no tests in senior college, there's no grades, there's no term papers or research papers, but some of the classes will offer you readings that will enhance your experience in the class. And of course, you can do those readings and you don't have to do those readings either. But that brings a good point in that we share lots of great content with you that supplement the learning in your classes, so you can be as engaged as you'd like to be in your class. Thank you so much, Lynn Kai. Okay, up next we have Peggy Jablonski, and then after Peggy, we'll go to Mendy Garin. Welcome, Peggy.
Hi, everyone. This is my first time teaching in the senior college. I've been in higher ed for about 40 years, mostly as an administrator, but also a faculty member. And last year with the pandemic and not traveling, I decided to walk through every town on Cape Cod, looking at issues in particular of racial and social justice from a historical perspective to then what's going on with that same issue today. So what this class is going to do in 4 weeks, we're going to walk the entire Cape together. We're going to look at women and people of color in science over at Woods Hole. I'm going to take you to the Zion Institute Museum in Hyannis that has the artwork of people of color, Black, Indigenous, Cape Verdeans on Cape Cod. We're going to look at the Mayflower and the 400th anniversary story from the Wampanoag perspective. We're going to look at some of the women suffragettes, the women who were involved in the American Revolution. And then we're going to talk about, check in on, say, up in Provincetown, the current issues around LGBT, the Tennessee Williams Festival, all that stuff. It has been such a learning experience to take the container of the place where you live and delve into it deeper to make connections to a lot of the things Wing Kai and others have talked about on screen. We'll talk about immigration, the fact that the Pilgrims were immigrants. They landed in the wrong place. They created the Mayflower Compact. And then what does that mean for us today? And the big thing we're going to unpack is the North's connections to the institution of slavery, and in particular, Cape Cod's support and interaction with the economy of the South, the sea captains, the abolitionist period, and how we help support the institution of slavery in the South and in the Caribbean in particular. So if you want to know why Cape Cod is named Cape Cod and what was so important about the codfish, come to my session for 4 weeks. It'll also help you then plan wherever you go on a trip, how to look at it from a different lens, how to just ask some different questions. Oh, I'm at Gettysburg. What was it like for Black people in Gettysburg when this battle took place? So I'll share with you a few things I found on my civil rights, Civil War tour last April as I came back from Florida. I'll kind of weave it in. So it's lessons learned walking through Cape Cod. So hope you join me. It'll be a lot of fun.
Peggy, thank you so much. We're really excited to have you in the senior college and looking forward to hearing what everyone's experience is in this course. We also have like 6 or 7 members so far signed up from the region of Cape Cod. So I hope those folks will definitely take the chance, and everyone else as well. I know we have lots of visitors and people who love this region from our membership. Okay, so up next we have Mendy Guerin, and after Mendy we'll have Dr. Jenny Shanahan. Mendy, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm actually based on the North Shore, and we have a tornado warning, so I'm kind of bunkered down in my basement workshop, so my lighting isn't all that great, but but I'm happy to be here. So I'm going to be teaching the Introduction to Calligraphy course. So we're going in a little bit of a different direction, but first of all, I want to just say, like, all of these other courses sound amazing, and I wish that I could take them. But just a little bit about me. I have actually kind of a mixed background that has brought me to where I am now. I've been interested in art and creative lettering since I was young. I've taken art and art history courses through high school and college, but I actually have a history in wildlife biology and have just finished my second master's degree in anthrozoology. But through that program and over the past several years, I've ventured into wildlife art. And then during COVID, I took a formal class in calligraphy. And in January of this year, I just opened my own part-time calligraphy company. So I like to blend my wildlife background in art with calligraphy and modern lettering to create unique pieces. I love experimenting with new concepts and having fun with my lettering. So this calligraphy course will go over the tools and supplies needed to get started in calligraphy. We will learn the basic foundational strokes needed in lettering, and then learn on how to build upon that for unique lettering styles. So since this course is in November, it will be a great time to end the course with a finished project, such as a card or a beautiful handmade quote that can be given as a gift around the holidays. So I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone, and hopefully see you in November.
Mendy, I am so excited for this class. Last semester, there was someone in our evaluations where they requested a hand lettering calligraphy class like 50 times. And I made it my personal mission to find an instructor who could teach this, because we've had a lot of success with our other hands-on courses via Zoom. For anyone that might be concerned about the format, Mendy will have a camera set up over her, and so it really will seem very seamless, and it's just a great way to connect with other like-minded people. I'm looking at Evie DeLutis here. She took our what's it called, Evie, the the little paper origami course last year, and absolutely loved it. And we were introduced by Dr. Andrea Bogolomini, who taught a class previously in marine conservation as well. So maybe you can teach a class in the future in that realm as well, because our members like that as well.
Great.
So thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, Jenny Shanahan, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be back. I'm going to be teaching 2 courses in the senior college this fall, and they are each 4 weeks. They can be taken in sequence. So the first course sets a foundation for the second course, but you're not required to have the first course to take the second one. So the first course is called Becoming Anti-Racist. I taught the course in the spring and really enjoyed the conversations. So that's one about theories and practices that you can bring to work against racism and bigotry of all forms. And whether that's in your interpersonal relationships and personal conversations, or in the community, in the public spaces in which you live, work, volunteer, etc. And we'll have several short readings, nothing heavy in terms of workload, and nothing required, but some recommended readings and TED Talks and a podcast interview. So that's the first course in the first 4 weeks. I'm bringing to that work my work as an administrator at Bridgewater State, in especially in racial equity and justice. So that's been a passion of mine and a commitment of mine throughout my career in higher ed. The second course is called the 21-Day Equity Challenge. And this is premised on research showing that we get better at what we practice on a daily or nearly daily basis. So about 10 to 15 minutes a day can be very powerful for building habits, and a habit of working for equity in our various places is one of those habits that can get developed. So I was thinking about any of us, very much including myself, who've ever been in a situation regarding diversity, racial issues, discrimination, and you wish that you had handled it differently, or you wish that you had had more tools that you felt you could use in a really smooth facilitation, or a smoother facilitation than happened. I've certainly had that experience, and I know that when we practice equity, we're better and better at handling those situations and being forces for justice in our world. So we'll be led by equity experts, both living and who have passed away, using their words and lessons and reflecting on those over 21 days. So I'll say that I'm planning to provide a 10 to 15 minute exercise to be done every day, but you could double them up. You can do them when you can. That is flexible, of course.
Jenny, thank you so much. Of course, you're back by very, very popular demand. And I got a lot of grief last time because your course was only 4 weeks and people were mad and they wanted it to be 8 weeks. So here's your chance, people, to spend 8 glorious weeks with Jenny in this space talking about this important topic. Again, I never expected, racial justice is very important to me in my own scholarship, and my own professional work. I never expected us to have such an interest in this topic. And of course, though, it would make sense that the senior college our courses represent what's going on in the world, what people are interested in. And I know that your course and the information that you helped people absorb has helped people have these difficult conversations and be greater allies to people of color. So, we're so thankful to you. And I know that you're an incredibly busy person. This isn't, something that you have a lot of time to devote to, but I know that you feel it's important, and that's why you're here. So thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Jen.
Oh, thank you. Up next, we have Monica Pepe, but just before, I just wanted to address a couple questions in the chat regarding classes being recorded. I have yet to reach out to the instructors to ask them about recording permissions. So unless they want to answer here, they don't have to answer. I usually give them a little bit more information about how the recordings are used. Most classes are recorded, but some faculty think that people might feel free to speak, especially about sensitive topics when it's not being recorded. So it really is an individual course decision. But I would say probably last semester, like 85% of our courses were recorded. And I also just wanted to make a note that the India course was scheduled to be in person, but it is now virtual, and it will take place on Mondays at 3:30 p.m. starting on September 20th. So that's a slight schedule change, and that is reflected on the schedule that's on our website. Okay, Monica, am I saying your last name incorrectly? Is it Pepe? Pepe?
Pepe.
Pepe.
But you did a lot better than most people do. So
well, thank you.
Well done.
Welcome. It's nice to meet you face to face.
You too. Yeah, thank you so much. So this will be my first time participating in senior college. So thank you for the opportunity. I'm really excited, and also agree these courses all sound amazing, and I wish that I could take them as well. So my name is Monica, and I work for a fairly small nonprofit based in Plymouth, so not too far from Bridgewater. We're called Whale and Dolphin Conservation, and I first joined the organization as an intern fresh out of college myself, and I've been here ever since. So my role within the organization has, of course, changed over time, but it's just been a really positive experience for me. And I'm excited to share some of that with all of you. So we're an international nonprofit, but our North American headquarters are right here in Plymouth, as I mentioned. Our team here is fairly small. We have 10 full-time staff members, but we have a pretty established internship program. A number of interns join our team every year. We also have volunteers here throughout the year as well that all help to support the work that we do. So it's pretty much in the name of Whale and Dolphin Conservation, kind of what our goals are. But in the area off of Massachusetts, we're fortunate to have a number of really exciting marine mammal species at various times throughout the year. Some of these species are endangered, but they're all protected by federal law. So, our goal is really to try to protect them as much as we possibly can. And a lot of education components come into that. So we spend a lot of our time collecting data ourselves or interpreting data collected by others and using that data to advocate for the protection of these whales and dolphins. Of course, it would be impossible to do all of that in isolation. So we have a wide network of other research and conservation partners in the area. And we also do what we can to gain the support of the public. That doesn't always come easy. We know that it's kind of a learning journey that starts with gaining an understanding of these issues. So that's kind of why we do spend a lot of time doing public outreach, participating in festivals, and just trying to get the word out to a wide variety of people. Having whales off the coast of Massachusetts here isn't new, but their use of some of these habitats is changing as ocean temperatures change. So for large whales, they're not really directly impacted by small temperature changes of the ocean, but they come up here to our area to feed. And so the food that they're feeding on is very small and very susceptible to ocean temperature changes. So they're going to follow their food wherever it goes. And in recent years, that has brought them closer to shore. So it's presented an opportunity for more people to come into contact from a distance with these whales. So even if somebody's not able or comfortable being on a boat, they can oftentimes see whales from shore at various times of the year. So it's just a way of, more people have had more access to whales in recent years. And we try to follow that up with with helping people to learn a little bit more about them. So I will be doing a 4-week course in October. If I remember correctly, it's Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. Every Tuesday in October. And over the course of those 4 sessions, I'll be introducing you to our ocean neighbors, some of them by name, because we do in fact give some whales names. It's kind of a fun part of the process, but also a very important part, which I will get into during my course. And I'll also provide an overview of some of the issues, the threats that they face, and the ways that anybody can take action or get involved and help to protect them. I'll also tell everybody a little bit more about who WDC is and what we do. But one of the biggest, what I hope will be one of the biggest take-home messages for everybody is why protecting whales is in fact important. And without giving any spoilers, I might just leave you with a cliffhanger here and say that we are going to talk a little bit about the bathroom habits of whales, because that is a critical piece of the puzzle. So you'll have to attend my course to find out more if that's intriguing to you. But thank you so much again for the opportunity to participate, and I look forward to seeing everybody in October. And since you just mentioned the thing about recording, I'm pretty sure that I'll allow my course to be recorded, so anyone who can't make it can definitely watch the recording.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Monica. Well, you have me hooked, because anything related to the bathroom habits of a whale, I now find so interesting, and I'm very curious. That's awesome. I also wanted to mention that Monica is here because of our partnership with the Center for Active Living in Plymouth. And we have a great partnership with them. When it's safe to do so, we will be coming to offer courses at their center in Plymouth. And they have really done the legwork in helping us connect with these really great instructors like Monica to offer some of our courses. So we're really thankful for that. Thanks again. It was great to see you, Monica. I look forward to your course. Up next, we have Sandra Temple. And after Sandra, we'll do Margaret Rozek. Sandra, hello, good to see you.
Hello, my name is Sandra Temple, and this is the 3rd class I'll be teaching for the Bridgewater Senior College. I am a history and social studies maven, and my interest for years has been the history and social sciences that we were never taught in our 1950s classes. So the class I'm going to be teaching this coming fall is an 8-week run through called The Movable American Frontier, the Trans-Mississippi Migration and Settlement. So often a dream, sometimes a metaphor. The American West is a place that millions of us can visualize. It is both a physical region and a cultural landscape. Since the West's magnificent scenic landscape inspired not only artists, but also entrepreneurs, we'll examine the technology that truly won the West: the Pony Express, the telegraph, the rush for precious metals, minerals and oils, the railroads, and the grand American story of mobility and migration. So we'll explore trails west and the Homestead Act. We'll also learn about the American Indian Wars from the point of view of the chiefs who fought to survive and preserve their culture and their way of life, and the thoughts and feelings of common soldiers who appreciated foes so clever, steadfast, courageous, and dignified in defeat. So we will be starting off in 1848 with the Mexican-American War and the Bear Flag Revolt in California. We'll be proceeding through There's Gold and Then There Hills, mining across the West, the Homestead Act and settlers' life, and then 2 weeks of Native American warfare on the Northern Plains. And then what we don't hear much about was the warfare on the Southern Plains. Transportation, stagecoach, Pony Express, and Transcontinental Railroad, the Western cattle industry, the myth of the cowboy, and finally, the 1890 census that declared that the American frontier was now formally closed and why that was decided upon. So it'll be an 8-week course starting in September, running through November. And I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible. I send out my slides after each class is done. And I also welcome and answer questions. And some people in my past classes have sent me pictures of their travels in places I've talked about, and I've incorporated them. If you send them to me before the class starts, I can incorporate them in the slide. And so I always welcome that kind of interaction with members of the class. Thank you very much, and I look forward to Wagons Ho.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Sandra. We're so thrilled to have you. You have been a longtime supporter as a member of the senior college and also as a fabulous instructor, and your courses are always very well attended, and we're really happy to have you. So thanks for coming back. Okay, up next we have Margaret Rozak, and after Margaret, please tell me if I'm Rozak, if I'm pronouncing your last name incorrectly. And then after you, we'll have Lynn Moulton. Margaret.
Hi, thank you so much for this opportunity to be at the information session and to teach for senior college. It's been great just listening to the wide variety of courses. What I'm doing is called Grandparenting for the 21st Century. It will be mostly in November, 4 sessions. We will take off the week of Thanksgiving because I know everybody has other things to do. A little about my background. I have a PhD in clinical psychology. I spent a long time at home with my kids, and I'm quite drawn to teaching. I've taught grad students. I've taught preschoolers how to ski. I've taught teenage high school dropouts, and all kinds of other folks along the way too. So teaching anything makes me happy, but particularly teaching about grandparenting. I was talking with a college friend who's also a grandparent, and we just had so many questions between the two of us that we were trying to answer. And I thought this might be a topic that other people would be interested in too. So the class structure is each session will include a short presentation and then a discussion. I'll just toss out a variety of topics we might cover. Grandparenting is a life stage, as my mom put it. We all receive a promotion. The roles of grandparents, what's called the grandmother hypothesis, looking at the experience of people who are currently parents and how it's differs from our own. Some of the trends in child development, research, and child rearing practices. As we know, kids aren't any different, but some of the things that are swirling around them are. We'll look at some tools for dealing with your grandchildren, exploring what their world is like, navigating the relationships with your adult children and your in-laws, how to take the back seat, a variety of special circumstances, and how to cultivate a really special relationship with your grandchildren. So the topics are going to be based on the interests of the class, of you, the people in the class. I'm going to contact everybody who's signed up about a week before the class and see what you're interested in doing. Or you can contact me. I'm going to put my email in the chat bar as soon as I'm off. And I'm going to put in one other thing, a book I've just started. It's by Anna Quindlen, and it's called Nanaville. And it's her personal experience with being a first-time grandmother. She says some of the things I've thought, but she says it much more beautifully. I will also put that in the chat bar. That's totally, if you optional. If you're interested, we'll probably draw some excerpts from the book to discuss in class. Anyway, I'm looking forward to lively discussions on the topic we all love the best, which is grandchildren. So thank you very much.
Oh, Margaret, I'm so excited. I would love to take your class, and I'm not even a mom or a grandma. That just sounds so interesting. I think your course is going to be so useful and very popular amongst our members, and I'm really glad that we connected with one another. So thanks for being here. And don't forget to put those things in the chat when you have a moment.
Thank you.
Okay, up next we have Lynn Moulton, and after Lynn, we'll speak with Ray Ajamin, and I'm butchering, I'm sure, his last name, but we'll speak with Ray. I see him nodding. Okay, Lynn Moulton.
Hi, everybody. I want to take all of these classes. I'm so impressed with everyone, what they've said about their classes coming up. This is my cat Zebulon in back of me, just in case you're wondering. He will be helping. He's named after Grandpa Walton, so he'll be helping me teach. I'm going to be teaching about the Salem witch hysteria. I'm an actor, I'm a psychotherapist, and I've been acting at the Salem Witch Dungeon Museum for the past 30 years, lecturing and reenacting the witch trials. I also do one-woman shows on Julia Child. Oh, Julia. I do Mae West, I do Eleanor Roosevelt, I do several one-woman shows, but my passion truly is the Salem witch hysteria. Most of us in New England and high school learned about the witch hysteria. Did most of you, hands up, anyone take American history, learn about the witch hysteria, or read Arthur Miller's play, The Crucible? Yeah. Well, what I learned at Catherine McCauley High School was that a woman, of African slave named Tituba, bewitched 9 little girls, taught them voodoo, and that these girls, because of their fears, went a little crazy, started to contort into strange positions, bark like dogs, run around the room, throw Bibles. This all started in the Reverend Paris's house. The doctor being called in diagnosed these girls with witchcraft. And so the girls had this diagnosis. They were brought into the courtroom to accuse witches, local witches. They actually accused 162 people in Massachusetts of the crime of witchcraft. Of those 162, 30 people were condemned to die on gallows hill. And of those 30, 19 were actually hanged, 1 person crushed to death. It was the largest witchcraft hysteria in this country, and thankfully the last witchcraft hysteria. So what we're going to take a look at, though, is some of the things that we learned might not have been true. For one thing, Tituba, the African slave, was actually an Indian woman who could have been from Plymouth, Massachusetts. The 9 young girls who supposedly caused all of the trouble were not the only ones having the strange afflictions. So we're going to look at some of the people that did have the afflictions, some of the people that were actually adults that had the afflictions and were accusing their neighbors. We're going to take a look at the theories of why this whole thing might have started, including the theory that a strange fungus might have grown on the brain and caused these people to have neurological symptoms. That theory's been debunked, but there's been some interesting research that I'm going to bring up in the class. We're also going to look at what Arthur Miller got wrong with his play, The Crucible. And the last class, I really sincerely hope to take you on a ghost tour of Salem, in virtual ghost tour. We'll look at some of the weird theories and hauntings. There's a theory that Giles Corey, the man that was crushed to death under heavy stones, put a curse on the sheriffs of Salem. We'll take a look at that curse. So we'll have fun for Halloween. And of course, Salem is the Halloween capital of the world. So it's the perfect time, October, that we will be taking a look at some of the ghost theories and some of what actually might have happened in Salem. So I'm looking forward to meeting with all of you virtually. And thank you very much.
Lynn, thank you so much. I'm really excited. Fun fact, I am a graduate of Salem State University, and my entire, most of the time I was there, I worked at the Salem Wax Museum, which wasn't, it was a little light on the historical stuff, but I was fully immersed into the Salem culture of Halloween and the tours of the grave site and the memorial behind that site there. So I'm super excited. It is a fascinating part of our history here in New England, and I'm so glad to have you. And I can see that there might be many other courses that you could teach for us as well. So welcome to Senior College.
Thank you.
Okay, up next we have Ray, and then we'll, I think the only two instructors we have left are Ray and Dave Moore. If there's another instructor here beyond those two, please write it in the chat so I make sure to get to you. Ray.
Thank you. If I would have known there's a cat going to be in the picture, I would have brought mine and put him on the chair also. Not quite as large, but a big guy. Anyway, my course, probably not the most uplifting, will be on genocide in the 20th century. My background is you need to know my background. I'm Armenian, and my parents are both immigrants to this country. One was a genocide survivor, and that got me interested. I went to the University of Michigan, studied Middle Eastern history, started a PhD, but decided against it in the end, which was wise. But I have taught, and my interest is obviously genocide. I'm interested in how it starts, how it continues, and how countries react to it. And so the course will basically be genocide in the 20th century. In other words, Namibia, the Armenian genocide in 1915, the Holocaust, of course, going on to Cambodia, Rwanda, and Bosnia. And it will be the entire program, the entire course will be with slides, with PowerPoint. And it will, the last part will mainly discuss on how we should react to countries that move towards genocide and when it gets going, and how in particular throughout the course we'll discuss on how the United States in particular reacts to genocide around the world, and if it does anything, if it does it right, and so forth. So I think it's an important class, and it'll be wide open for discussion and ideas. There's no right and wrong answer here. People argue about it all the time, and one of the main issues, which is still going on today, is denial. In other words, countries that have had genocide deny that it ever happened. And we'll obviously discuss also events that some people consider genocide. In other words, whether it be slavery or the American Indian and so forth. We'll bring that up. But the main point will be the accepted genocide to the 20th century. And that's basically it.
Ray, thank you so much. I'm really glad that we finally connected on this course. It is very important. I think it's a topic of interest with many of our members. So I'm really looking forward to your course. Thank you. And then finally, we have Dave Moore. Dave, I can't remember if you were here to listen in today or if you were also going to give a brief plug on your course too.
Well, it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
Always looking for another course to take. But I figured, seeing as I'm here, I can say a few words about mine. I'm fifth generation Bridgewater, so I didn't come with the Pilgrims. We're new in town, 1847, but I've been working with my dad for the last 50 years, talking about Bridgewater history. And I've added a little twist to it as opposed to what my dad used to do. And I try to connect Bridgewater with other things in the world, such as starting with the Plymouth Colony, the Civil War Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, how we worked on things. And I'm really looking to, I heard a reference today to Bridgewater, or the area's part in slavery in the South. And I will be talking a lot about Carver and his role in slavery and so forth, in the cotton gin industry, and it's in the Washburn family and so forth. So I'm going to try to tie a lot of things together. And if it happened in the world, it happened in Bridgewater, and how Bridgewater was impacted by it, and how things in Bridgewater impacted the world. So I work it chronologically. I welcome comments. I'm always willing to learn new things. And I'd love to have a little discussion on it. So this is my first virtual presentation. My last one was in person. So I'm kind of looking forward to it as a new adventure.
Dave, thank you so much. We're so thrilled to have you. I know that your course is of great interest to folks from the community of Bridgewater and beyond. And again, I'm here anytime any of our instructors want to meet or have conversations about how to effectively deliver your course via Zoom. We're happy to talk to you about that as well. So it's 3:01. I do know that, our instructors, again, if you want to hop off, you're more than welcome to, but I do think I'll open it up now for a few minutes of Q&A. If there's any burning questions, you're welcome to put it in the chat now. Or if you have any questions for me about how to register, we can do that right now and stay on for a few more minutes. And you can either unmute yourself or raise your hand using the Zoom feature. And if there's no questions, then that would be easy too. I did want to let people know that we have a 3-step registration process because we are a big bureaucracy and we'd like to keep things really streamlined here. So, but I'm happy to report that 125 people have made it through the 3-step registration process. So it is possible, but it's outlined on our website. So you have to go first and apply to the university. It's just a formality. And then you have a second website by which you have to pay. And then the 3rd step is selecting your courses. We will be offering everyone student IDs. I just got a question in the chat. So starting right probably the day after Labor Day, you will all be officially registered with the university in the course, which is like this umbrella course of senior college. And so you should have already, if you've registered, you'll receive your banner ID, and that's all you need to go to our, Connect card office to pick up your Connect card. And I will be sending all of our current members information about how to get your student ID card, how to get a parking pass if that's of interest to you. And again, if you don't plan on visiting our campus, then you can just disregard those notices. But yes, you'll be able to get your student ID, which is great. And I see Donna Thomas has a question. Go ahead, Donna.
Hi, Jen. You were great on helping me navigate to register. My question is should you register for a course if you know you can't be there on the time it's going to happen, but you still would like to see it?
Nope, you don't need to do that. All the members of the senior college in the fall will have access to a special secret website where you can view recordings of other classes. So if you don't intend on ever going to the meetings live, then you don't need to sign up for it. Good question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yep. We have a question coming in about our website. I'm just going to pop it here in the chat. Gloria, go ahead.
So I have a student ID already. Is it still valid or do I need a new one?
It'll be valid as of right after Labor Day again. Okay. Yeah, assuming you've already joined for the fall, right? Yep. Mm-hmm.
No. I mean, in past semesters, my ID is from past semesters. Is it still valid?
It probably isn't. If you were in the spring semester, it probably is still valid until Labor Day. But after Labor Day, you'll need to join the senior college for the fall.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I posted the website in the chat. Any other questions? Juliet.
Yeah, just real quick on the student IDs. Am I able to pick that up in Attleboro or do I have to go to Bridgewater?
We can make a special arrangement with you, Juliet, if you're able to email me or Kathleen DeSimone, who's the director in Attleboro, a photo of yourself, then we can do it. But if not, if you can't get us a photo, then we'll have to talk. But maybe I can talk offline about that.
We can talk offline. Okay, great.
Sure. Thank you. Any other questions? Anne, is that you waving to me?
Yes, it is. I was wondering, are all the in-person courses now going to be Zoom?
Well, as of right now, as of today, we have, we're still planning on offering the Dancing Around the World with Sam Baumgarten outside, likely at the Bridgewater Senior Center. So that will still be in person, but outside. And then the big course that we're really kind of keeping a close eye on is the Civil War and Reconstruction with Gary Highlander, who is apparently a superstar in the lifelong learning circuit of instructors. He comes to us from the program at Wheaton College, I think, and from other places. So his course is still planned in person. Of course, it'll be dependent upon the town of Bridgewater's public health protocol at the moment, and our ability to offer a course in person. Our tentative backup plan, although Gary doesn't know it yet, would be, because we don't think he's particularly tech savvy, although I'm not sure about that, is to maybe have Gary come to our university and have like Darlene help him deliver the class via Zoom. That might be an option, and or it might be to postpone his course for the next semester. So most of our classes are likely to be online this fall, except for those.
That's the one that I was interested in, that I had signed up for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just play it by ear. I mean, I got a long email back from the director of the library over there, and you know, it's not really up to him, it's up to the public health protocol. Yeah. The student ID is good for the semester. So if you register and pay now, it'll be good for the entire fall semester, and then you'll have to register again in the spring if you want access to the amenities in the spring, which by spring we mean starting in January. Any in-person at BSU Cape Cod? Nope. And we don't plan on really ever having courses on the Cape for the near future. There's a very robust, great program on the Cape called the Academy of Lifelong Learning, and they've been a great friend to me in helping advise me in the development of this program. So we're sort of non-competing with them for the time being. So no in-person classes on the Cape at the moment. It is just $85, I see. Any other questions? Oh, Evie, go ahead.
Is she on mute? She's on mute.
Okay. I have to tell you, I don't want to come to any more of these senior college reviews because they confuse me. I can't take all the courses that I hear about if I were on this Zoom 24/7. Every time I come on, I write a note and I'll say, oh, that one sounds better than that one. So thank you though.
I told you, Evie, I said, tell your family you're too busy. Don't even call you. Don't reach out to you. You guys are too busy for the fall. That you're going to just be packed.
Just love them. And I see so many of the same friends on different classes. And now Dr. Toe is going to be there. And so I'm ready, willing, and hopefully have time.
Thank you. Jan, I see you waving your hand at me.
Yeah, I just want to tell Evie, you can do it. I'm signed up for them all, so you can do it too. I expect to see you there. So.
Thank you, Jan.
Okay, one last question. It's almost it's 3:08. Gloria, are you just unmuted? You don't have a question, Gloria? No. Okay. Any one last pressing
Juliet.
Juliet, go ahead. Oh, I think Juliet asked.
I think that was I asked. I must not put my hand down.
Okay, great. All right, well, I'll stay on for a moment. I'm going to conclude this session. Thank you all. Thanks to the instructors for being here, and have a wonderful day.